maybe something's up with HN. This is all like pretty nebulous. So Ken, I guess like maybe HN plays on Sunday. Like I guess like we're operating with way incomplete information here, but obviously this impacts one betting market specifically, and we'll talk about the Dolphins-Panthers game in a little bit coming up on Sunday. But obviously offensive rookie of the year. What's happening right now in this betting market for our live listeners and viewers?
And you'll forgive me, I'm trying to type 15 messages at the same time and click buttons and move some stuff around. So offensive rookie of the year is still open everywhere. Based on a Schefter retweet, I don't know how long that's going to be. Because usually when Adam Schefter tweets anything, even if it's a total overreaction, the market will get pulled. But to your point, this is a really funny one. Because your first thought, like if you just told me like, hey, Devon Achane got hurt, my next thing is going to be like, be right back, have to bet wheelbarrows of money on CJ Stroud to win offensive rookie of the year. And mostly because of, it's not just that Achane's hurt, it's that Achane's hurt and Anthony Richardson's now out for an extended period of time. He can't win, zero. And Puka Nacua is now impacted by Cooper Kupp's return, and Kupp is awesome. So, like, these are all very bad things for these candidates to varying degrees. Like, Nacua can still win. I think it's just less likely he wins. Richardson actually can't win. And now Achane's hurt, but we don't know how long he's out or if he's out at all. So you're basically
I have an update
straddling
here, by the way. I have an update, Ken, that just came in. This is Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel asked about Achane's status for Week 6 against Carolina. McDaniel, quote, to be determined. So at least like a little bit of, I don't know if it's pessimism, but not optimism right now regarding Achane's status, if that's fair, coming up for this game on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, so basically, like, my best guess.
Do you need me to filibuster so you can bet? And I think our audience can appreciate that if that's what has to happen.
I mean, look, we're working. So my best guess is that even if this is not a big deal, it's going to cause a complete panic, and Stroud's going to become like a minus big favorite to win the award, because you're going to take a 4-1 and increase him significantly price-wise, and that win probability has to go somewhere. And my guess would be it all goes to Stroud. That would actually be my guess, instead of like divvying it up among him and Nacua and Bijan Robinson. It's not that like Stroud has now won, or if Achane is out for a long time, Stroud has like, hand him the trophy. Just that in terms of, we're always thinking in probabilities, right? If you remove one of the really, like, I think 3 players who can realistically win the award, like, I don't think Nacua is going to end up getting there in the end. I really don't think that's possible. Bijan still has a chance because he does crazy cool stuff every week, like catch the ball behind his back and stuff, and overhead angles of him juking out guys. He also doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, which has been really problematic. If you own him in fantasy, I'm sure it's been very frustrating. He can still get there. I think if Achane's hurt, it's like literally Stroud and Bijan's chasing him, and that's it. And that's the end of everything for like this market. It's a little premature to say that, but like that's what I mean. We're just, we're in a gray area. So I think Stroud's price is really, really, really likely to go down. There's a book that's paying more attention that's like 115 and has been dropping, probably because people have been betting. And I think the best guess is just he goes to like minus. God, if Achane is out for even multiple weeks, like call it 2, Stroud minus 200, I don't know, something like that probably makes a lot of sense. And if he keeps playing well, then it keeps dropping. That's kind of how I would approach it right now. The funny thing is, we'll do the Texans game. They draw a really, really, really stingy, difficult defense this week with New Orleans. And so it's not like Stroud has to play great or anything. Just we're basically just due to injury, and players returning from injury. In Kupp's case, we're just removing players that, we're really in the mix to win. We're making it much less likely that they win. And it's possible Stroud and Bijan are going to kind of be like the only 2 left standing.
I'm about to galaxy brain the bleep out of this game with Carolina and Miami. And I think I'm way right on how this is going to play out. So we've been bagging on Bryce Young a lot, right? He's been brutal, been terrible. Like, Stroud's been good, and Richardson's been good, and Bryce Young's been bad. Like, maybe a franchise-killing mistake for Carolina to trade up to 1 to take Bryce Young. And they got demolished by Detroit yesterday. Detroit, the cover was really like never, I guess, was in doubt like a little bit early in the game, and then Detroit just pulled away, and it was never going to go Carolina's way. So cash your Detroit bets. I will say, it's worth noting, Bryce Young was kind of slinging it in the second half yesterday against Detroit.
Oh, boy.
Now, they're down, and, like, they have to throw it, and, like, maybe Detroit's not as aggressive as they would be defensively. I don't think you can overstate how important that might be for the young man's confidence, for Bryce Young's confidence that he actually got like a half of football where he actually played really, really well. And the receivers are all healthy. And Thielen played well again, and I was way wrong on Adam Thielen. Now he's playing in the slot. It's going to extend his career a couple of years. And Chark caught a touchdown. And Mingo's healthy off the concussion, and he's the most talented of the three. So, Miami's going to win the game. I'm not going to suggest that Carolina's going to upset them. Just that I am upgrading Carolina's offense a little bit here. And they're starting to play Chuba Hubbard more than Miles Sanders, and Miles Sanders is garbage, and that's the right move. I like the over in this game, and I think the Panthers will fall inside the number and cover the spread. Just to pay off a conversation we had in hour number one, we have news here as it regards Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, officially listed as a DNP today for Kansas City. The Chiefs obviously play on Thursday night against the Denver Broncos. I don't think this is a surprise. I think that if you had asked either of us kind of like before we knew, hey, do you think Kelsey's going to practice? I think we probably both would have said no. Like there's no reason for it. No reason for him to practice. He's 34. He's going to the Hall of Fame. Knows the offense. Has a mind meld with Mahomes. Don't necessarily need him to practice. Also, he might have like an ankle sprain of some degree. So I still think he'll probably play in the game on Thursday night. I don't know if this really is indicative of anything, but wanted to report that news. Kelsey does not practice, Ken, today on Monday for the Chiefs. I'm guessing that we're not seeing any movement in the betting market off of that news.
You saw like a tiny shift to Denver where like these 10.5s just got juiced a little bit toward Denver in a couple places, not like heavy movement or anything. I think a lot of people thought this was likely. I also think this game sets up not identically, but similarly to Carolina, Detroit in terms of like how the market may move, where Detroit had a brutal injury report. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown's not going to play. Jameer Gibbs not going to play. Like, oh my God, And it's like, well, what's happening in the market? Be like, not moving. Like it moved like a half point. Like we're not going anywhere. And it's like, it was a big number too, like 9.5, 10. It's like, well, why? And we talked about this on Sunday. Be like, well, do you want to bet Carolina? Like ever? And I think everybody probably to themselves was like, no, not really. Like, cool. And look what's happened. Look what happens in the game too. Without all those players, they run up the score basically in the game. Couldn't this just be the same thing? Like, oh, Kelsey's out. Okay, you want to bet the worst defense of all time? No, not really. So, like, why is the market going to move then? Great, Kelsey's out. Awesome. You get declare out Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Watson, like all the awesome, cool. Like it's Mahomes against the worst defense of all time. Like, what's the number supposed to be? It's supposed to be 7? Like, what? I mean, where are we going here? So maybe Denver gets bet a little bit more when Kelsey's like officially declared out. You probably do get a pop off that a little bit, but I don't know if this is going to be like 9.5 or less or something. You invite people to bet like a shorter number on the best player of all time at home against the worst defense of all time. You want to invite that, really? I don't know, and I don't know who's out there dying to bet Denver, honestly, in a bunch of situations. And I'm down with contrarianism and betting bad teams. It's just I don't want anything to do with this team right now.
So the big news again around Minnesota and Chicago right now is the status of Vikings all-world receiver Justin Jefferson, who leaves the Chiefs game with a hamstring injury. And it kind of sounds like, and we played this game earlier with Devon Achane, right, with Miami, just trying to like read the tea leaves based on reports and based on what the quotes are. So we don't have the results yet of the MRI for Justin Jefferson for his hamstring injury. But I read all the tweets from all the insiders. They kind of made it sound like this might be like at least like a 1 week absence for Jefferson. Maybe he plays. I'm not saying he's not going to play. Kevin O'Connell, Vikings head coach, also had this quote that the team needs to, quote, protect Jefferson from himself. Meaning that, of course, Jefferson is going to want to play in the game, and we may need to sit him down. A, so he doesn't get hurt any further, and B, because we might secretly be trying to lose games now. So maybe we can move on from Kirk Cousins and get Caleb Williams. That's me saying that. That's not him saying that. That's me reading between the old lines there. So that the specter of Jefferson kind of hanging over this market, Ken, side and total, obviously. Where we are sitting right now at BetMGM is the Vikings, like in between a 2.5 and a 3-point road favorite at Chicago. And the total is 46.5. Now, You might remember on Friday, Ken and I talked about this game right following Chicago's win on Thursday night against Washington, and both of us made Minnesota a much bigger favorite than this. And then we said, like, we think the total needs to start with a 5, not a 4. Well, if Justin Jefferson's not going to play, I think it's fair for us to maybe have a difference of opinion here on side and total. I think that I'm probably going to have a bet on this game, Ken, if this is going to be the market. What say you, pen, pencil, blood, or blank, Vikings and Bears?
Yeah, I mean, obviously an adjustment for Jefferson probably not playing. There are reasonably juiced 2.5s in several places on Minnesota right now. So we're really not 3 at all anymore. We're really more like 2.5 in the game, and the total rightfully goes down. I mean, you remove the most explosive offensive player from the game. This is where and we do P squared, B squared, and I'm like, look, they're going to be more than this, and the total's going to be more. ... And I literally say on the Friday segment, unless Cousins or Jefferson get hurt, and then the market's going to be different. And one of them got hurt, and now the market's different. So just how big of an adjustment should it be? Can the Vikings still win and score a lot against a terrible Bears defense? Going to be without a ton of players still. Can they still do that? Probably. If he's out, then we probably sit here if he's out, 2.5, 3 if he's out. I don't think it's going to be way less. This feels like already he's not playing. It's 2.5 or something like that. I think, having not done work on the totals in the game, and we'll do weather with a couple games later on, without any of that, just I don't know if Bears games can be 46.5. When Jefferson plays, doesn't play, any receivers play, don't play, just Bears games aren't 46.5 games, especially now with the Bears offense and Fields playing the way that he's playing. Okay, cool. The Vikings are going to blitz. Fields is going to have to make throws exactly like the ones he made Thursday night against a terrible secondary for Washington and was successful. So I think the Vikings will be able to score enough to probably get the game over the total. Have not bet the game yet. My first thought would be, rather than try to pick the winner, because I think the Vikings might lose a lot more this year. I'd rather probably just count on scoring regardless of who plays, because it's a Chicago game. So probably the over. Have not done a lot of work yet on the total.